Hello, my lovers. Thank you so much. Some of you guys know that I'm not on the market for buying any more San Paulo because of the whole like the trees are going extinct thing. So those of you that have been sending me these little sticks, a couple of you reached out and basically were like, I don't like the San Paulo. You prefer other smudging devices. Just so you know as well, for the future of the smudging, if we're not going to be buying into a mass industry that potentially does harm, I think something even like sage can be a bit harmful. I'm not sure, but or as in a waste of our resource. And then I met a young woman in Segres who shared with me. So she just goes foraging locally, like so wherever she is in the world, she'll forage and find things like pine needles and lavender and rosemary and local herbs and foliage and that kind of stuff, and then create her own smudging sticks. I'll show you, which are fantastic and can be just as awesome, basically. And you can quite easily make your own if you're that way inclined. It's like making your own oils and just buying bigger. Um, so I couldn't. Oh, but it does smell good, like burning pine needles. So you can see there's like pine. Shall I say pine needles a few more times? Oop, and then I burned it by accident, burning incense. But yeah, this is cool. And then I'm not even sure what leaf that is, but there's some leaves, and then she's just wrapped it in rope. Obviously, you can tell. But those of you who have the San Paulo kind of left over, thank you for sending me some. I do love San Paulo. It's my favorite. So my own stock has basically run out. So the fact that all y'all, not every single one of you, like a couple of you, have sent in your spare or leftover San Paulo, I really love it and appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. So this is for the YouTube, Alta Love TV YouTube community, the new paradigm community, paradigm shift energy, manifestation, Alta Love. For November 3rd, it's always my intention to offer divine guidance and loving clarity for this community. For those of you who work with me privately with online coaching or intuitive readings, I really appreciate it. I absolutely love working with this community, empowering people to just understand manifestation and work it. Is it worth it? Gonna bang down, flip, and reverse. Basically, to just be who you really want to be and have faith in the cycles, processes, and patterns that we sometimes have to outwork in our beingness. And that's usually outworked in my awareness anyway, in the emotional body. So you are able to heal every part of yourself just by owning and transforming the world around you. And that's what I talk about. This is what the book, which has been also guided because I've been on a divinely guided intuitive path since I was 19. This is the result of basically my own 20-year spiritual awakening and transformational journey. And we are moving through really slow energies right now, even though everything's accelerated in our awareness because we've been looping through these patterns in an accelerated way, sort of across different timelines, through the paradigm shift energy, so through the mass awakening, global paradigm. So those who resonate with things like empathy, indigo, light worker, these sensitive souls that really their whole lives have wanted to change and yet maybe have felt like aliens in their families or aliens in society or what have you, the tides are turning. So new leadership is coming into our awareness. Great movements of global change are happening, more protests. This is all a reflection of the paradigm shift. Ultimately is our human awakening into the human heart, and people in different circles call it different things, moving from a three-dimensional paradigm to a five-dimensional paradigm. And the bridge, of course, is feeling more, which the empath community basically has been for their entire lives. Living in a fifth-dimensional reality ultimately just means you're fully anchored in your intuitive knowing, and basically always manifesting consciously, which is part of being a leader. Stepping into your truth and your path is that you're radiating the frequency of manifestation just by the beingness that you are. Anywho, blah blah blue blue. I love you guys so much, and I guess I just chit chat on flow. That's how I do, whether I'm on my YouTube channel or filming for Instagram. The online content that I create for All to Love, including the Be the Change courses, and when I do live speaking events. That's right. I've been speaking live since 2014 as well. And I've spoken at different festivals. Anywho, the whole point is that it's always intuitive. It's always in the present moment. I don't plan and project things into the future, ideally. Although, you know, we are programmed to do that. So I've been out working those programs. I just like feel and connect to the here now and then speak from my heart. So right down the center of the reading is holla. It's in the reverse, which means I feel like it's still being worked on, because then there's the Eight of Pentacles as well. So we're standing our ground and working on something. Be mindful of that defensive energy. Like, just focus on your own work, basically. I feel like justice has been served. We start the reading actually with the Justice, and then we end it with the Moon card. So I feel like more veils are getting lifted. And this is ultimately bringing justice round through these cycles and patterns. You are eventually moving to calmer waters. The card that's sort of challenging the reading is this this Nine of Wands, which is telling me that there is still a fear. There's an underlying fear. Weird, interesting, actually really interesting. So the fear in the reading anyway is coming up as like fear of external authority. Was I just talking about that? So there's still this defensiveness and fear of like the system, or fear of the external rule, the external organizations, right? The external authority that we call the system, bosses, the bank, government laws, rules, and regulations. And this is still potentially blinding us to this Ten of Cups energy and our ability to move forward through the inner landscape of consciousness. So remember that when you're feeling defensive in that very resistant way, you're not fully in your power in as far as how you work and manifest. So you want to rise into that point of power for yourself, rather than seeking it in other that you might perceive as being powerful. You might perceive as So for a lot of you guys, it is that you're finding justice and balance from within yourself, desiring to move to calmer waters, and you're manifesting a new beginning, possibly in work. Definitely. You're definitely creating a new world there, and there's a message coming in. So it's cool. Just drop that defense energy, and or on another angle, stand your ground. Like, if you want to protect, if you want to be like, no, this is my kingdom, this is my wands, you know, whatever. Just be aware of doing it out of fear versus doing it out of like true love for yourself. Because again, the fears have to be burned through our own etheria, not, you can't do that for others. So entangling to try to make that work for you via the external isn't going to work. Yeah, And then around your working life and then the Pentacle, some of you are feeling kind of tight. Like you're working hard and you're feeling like you have to really hold on or hoard the Pentacle, I would say, but you don't. You wanna move beyond the veil and anchor in a stronger foundation around your awareness. I feel like maybe approaching the full moon on November 12th that you're gonna come into a greater realization about these underlying fear energies that are forcing you back into that way of working and or feeling really tight around your Pentacle. This is what's so peculiar. Again, regardless of the circumstances, we have to find, even if it's little ways, it's not about splashing out and like spending all of our money in one go, but I certainly testify to this. It's like gentle, easy, face the fears as and when they come up within self. And ultimately as well, like aligning with people on base tones isn't going to serve you. So if we're aligning with people trapped in the old paradigm of working really hard to make money and still never really making any money, then you're not fully in your power. Hence the moon card. There's still light that needs to be shown on your ability to create a more stable foundation for yourself, all being born out of this new beginning, positive messages, but drop the defenses, be in your power, basically. And spend your money, I'm hearing. You know, you work hard, spend your money. Put your money back into the economy rather than holding on tight to it, pretending like you're someone who's going to have to just keep working like that. If you're aware, if you're navigating these energies from paradigm shift, then it's wild and radical and all this stuff, but you really have to ignore the circumstances and be willing to trust the work that you're doing from the inner realms, basically. Finding that strength. Yeah, finding that strength within is really what's creating this energy, this new beginning in a Pentacle in your working life. Basically, you're birthing a new world. And you're definitely moving away from dictatorial energies that used to trigger defense in you. Because you gave your power away. And again, I'm seeing that as well. There's increasing awareness now around the subtleties of how we give our power to other because we're wanting attention, or we feel that maybe other can support us in a creative endeavor, and yet the truth is once we see the pattern, we do have to step into the sovereignty of self, being the full creator, and like listening to your truth. And then ultimately every single encounter and engagement becomes a harmonious one once we really see that underlying pattern, which then leads us to the self and the true self of knowing. So then you become the hierophant of your own life. You become the authority of your own life. You can create as many new beginnings as you want and have ultimate fulfillment and loads of money. But it's one and the same, I'd say. It's like when you're fulfilled, you got everything you need. That's money and resources. When you got all the money and resources you need, you're ultimately in your power and you're able to attract all the love and shared community love experience that you want. And again, that's a more stable foundation. So we're really coming into that. Just be mindful of those underlying triggers around spending your money and receiving it as well. You're coming into a true phase of justice now. You're coming into a phase of true balance and justice, having gone within. Having done the inner work, having done the inner journeying, you're now starting to establish calmer waters, a greater sense of balance. And this is bringing in money, love, awesomeness. There's two angles. Be willing to stand your ground. At the same time, be aware of defending against. But you know it. You already know. You work hard. Go for it. Spend your money. Put some foundations down. Again, the moon card just signals to me that there's messages and or light, like there will be light that shines on certain situations. I feel like it's also saying that come the full moon in November that there's going to be some pretty wild and amazing manifestations that are starting to appear. You're shining down on them. You've done the work. You're coming out of this energy of holding on tight. Some of you maybe had to, a Knight of Cups, so a water energy that wasn't fully in their power. Some of you had to possibly walk away from that or shine light on that it wasn't truly serving you, because the the nine of wands is now looking over at that knight of cups, which is potentially standing between you and the fulfillment of your 10 of cups. So the nine of wands is the energy that we talked about, like standing your ground. There's around manipulative energy. You know, a knight of cups would be a water sign that's wanting to offer this love, wanting to offer this cup, and yet where you stand, it's not, it doesn't, it hence putting those guards up and being discerning, because the truth is you have loving union within self. That's your strength. That's the world that you're creating, which is bringing about so much abundance and so much love. But I feel like you had to really have your strength and discernment with the wands as well. The wands are very creative, mystical energies. And so you've kind of been doing all this work, building up all these wands, and then a knight of cups comes in wanting to make this offer, but you're like, no, and that warrants it, because the knight of cups is in the reverse. So this knight is not in their integrity. They're not in their full power. And that ultimately, by walking away from that, by shining light on that, you bring success into your life. New love and money. Dang. Good reading. That's right. That's right. So then I'm just the final card there. Booyakasha. End of a cycle. Finally, end of a cycle. And then full power manifestation. You're coming into your full creatorship. You're coming into your full divine elemental. You're a wizard, basically. You're coming into that full power, like, and sovereignty. It's like you pass the test. Just go be free. Spend money where you want to spend money. That's right. Integration. So there might be a bit of resting and healing going on in as far as that integration energy goes. You're coming into full union, basically. Full union with self. Understanding from a very, very logical sense in that regard, but you're really understanding the tenets of manifestation in a deep way. Unity. There's the eagle and a swan. There, the sun and the moon. The crystalline Merkaba with the higher aspect of consciousness, and then rooted into the infinity void, and the serpent energy and the serpent coil of your physical apparatus in that creative field of light and dark. So you have a full awareness of manifestation and how it works. So you're embodying it. You're embodying it to create it. I feel like it's just been a long time coming. It's been deeper and probably more challenging than you ever could have expected, but you've been doing the work. You're breaking free from moral code, basically, on the base tone level, and rising the sense of justice into greater harmony and balance for the whole, for the entirety of having participation in this life. You did it! You're rising yourself! Yeah, and now the advice from the Osho deck is basically just go with the flow, moflo lovers. Go with the flow. Go have fun, participate. And also with the integration card there, it's like also take rest if you need it. Take mega rest as and when you need it. Integration usually requires sleep. Ooh, yeah. And that's part of the pattern cycles that you've been breaking free from as well, is duplicitousness. People that wear masks. People that are trying to pretend to be one thing, but are a snake behind the mask. You know, they're trying to steal from you. They're trying to take from you. That's a lot of what this empath community has been working on. And via the isolation and inner courage, you've really risen into a maturity. So you've been evolving on a spiritual level, basically, which I know you all resonate with that. That's just the new paradigm community, basically. Coming into authenticity, and this has been huge as well, of like releasing the burden of like thinking any one person or any one community or any one collective agreement is somehow responsible for saving the world, and that we release the burden and instead act from a place of clarity, love, and creativity. You know, really embodying the self as the creative union and master of all that is, instead of carrying the burden and the weight of the world is such a fucked up place and it's ours to save. That's still a duality construct. If we're still projecting out the world is such a big, bad, scary place, then we're actually still perpetuating that creation. Instead, release the shackles and just be free. Enjoy your life. Create it in your authenticity. That's part of how we rise ourselves and move into the 10 of Cups and the 10 of Pentacles energy, which ultimately we're right here, right now. And then harmony, go play. This is beautiful. This is like ending of a cycle, birthing of a new, and almost it's like, I feel like this reading is basically saying it's gonna start happening a lot faster, and because the 10 of Pentacles and the 10 of Cups energy is here now, and then it's basically like you're coming into full harmony, you're coming into mastery after having lived and learned all of these lessons. You're not taking no shit from nobody, you're fully standing your ground, you're rising into your own individuation of power and consciousness, owning the full mastery of self, possibly some integration, but you've walked away, you've learned the lessons you need to learn to be full and free. Okay, thank you so much for being here, you guys. I love you so much. Of course, you know to go if you wanna book a private reading. Then you can do that. All the information is in the description below. You can also do some coaching with me, perspective shift, online yoga, and all that jazz. I love you. Have a great day. Peace out.